Tonight, growing peril for people trying to flee Afghanistan. Violence again breaking out just outside the Kabul airport.
To my fellow veterans that served in that country with me, we're living in a nightmare right now.
These scenes are especially hard for veterans of America's longest war. Good evening, I'm Jenny Ryan. Doug is off. Many veterans are now asking the sacrifices that they made, were they worth it? As Tyler Brown reports for us tonight, they're often wondering, did their service matter, and was it in fact worth it? Tyler?
Jenny, local veterans say they are heartbroken and angered about the recent turn of events in a country they served. Their hearts especially go out to the Afghan people who served alongside them.
To see like this, I don't think anybody wants to see this.
The past few days have been emotional for Adrian Hale. He served a year and a half in Afghanistan as a corporal with the U.S. Marine Corp. He was home Sunday when he saw that the Taliban had taken control of every major city.
I was in complete shock. Complete shock. And then when I started seeing the cities like Lashkar Gah, Nawa, Kandahar, like places I had actually been and in proximity to, it hit home because it was literally the work of my unit,
His frustration and disbelief turned to fear for the Afghan people who helped the U.S., now in the crosshairs of the Taliban.
There's so many folks in country who've helped us over the last 20 years. And it's just, I don't know, the recent events are kind of disappointing.
Marine veteran Nick Stavanovich spent a year and a half fighting the Taliban. He now fears for the future of the country he helped protect and the possible fallout.
I also fear for the future of our national security. The Taliban regime will never be satisfied with simply taking back the Afghan government.
But for Hale, the biggest fear is the unknown of how the Taliban will rule Afghanistan. And with the number of U.S. troops dwindling, he's hoping the U.S. can take extra steps to protect Afghan allies.
We don't know what they're going to do once there's like full evacuation from the country. So I just hope that, we uphold our end of the bargain. I really, really do.
And the United States announced today that 6,000 people at the Kabul airport will be processed and will board planes soon.
Not all schools are following it.
That's right, Don. The Charles Finney School in Penfield says it will not be mandating masks or vaccines. That decision will be left up to caregivers. In a letter to families, the Charles Finney School president/CEO says they're planning for a normal school year. The school will continue to clean and disinfect regularly, but students are not required to wear a mask or be vaccinated, and desks are not social distanced. One parent is worried about the lack of rules and fears children could be bullied for wearing a mask, saying, "The school that my kid attends is excellent. It's a wonderful, small, loving environment. Everyone is nice to each other. It seems like if we put this into the mix, it opens the door for conflict." The letter says tuition will be refunded if families decide to disenroll students. About 15 minutes away at the Harley School,
our posture is probably a little bit conservative.
Students will be required to fill out daily health assessments, follow universal masking, and social distance with the current recommendation of 3 feet.
That is allowing us to go back into the dining hall, which is incredibly important to us. We will have to do it in multiple seatings. We're going to have to try to keep the students silent during lunch. That will not be an easy trick, but we're going to be reading to them and things like that.
The school is mandating vaccines for staff as well. Even though the Harley School had 0 COVID cases last year, they say they would rather be safe than sorry.
It's so important to be here in school every day that I'd rather it were a little bit uncomfortable than to risk having to go remote.
And in response to the Charles Finney School Year letter, the county upheld its recommendations for masking and social distancing.
Well, the debate over mask mandates in schools continues to be a hot topic at some Board of Education meetings, including Webster. And that's where we find 13 Lab's Sam Carter. Sam?
Don, across the country to right here in Rochester, some Board of Elections meetings are getting heated, and they're getting that way generally because of one issue: masks.
It's not your right to interrupt.
This was the scene at a Webster Board of Education meeting on Tuesday when 2 former students and 1 current student praised the district's masking mandate. They were interrupted by the crowd.
I was a little scared. It was a little scary being up there, and yeah, I was starting to feel impatient, as I thought that we should all just be respecting each other and letting everyone speak.
With reports of similar outbursts over the masking debate at school board meetings across the U.S., County Executive Adam Bello seemed to reference the incidents, asking the county for calm.
I would just ask the community, please be respectful of each other, particularly our young people who are coming forward and expressing their own opinions from their own lived experience. We should be listening to them.
At a special meeting Thursday morning, East Irondequoit School Board voted to approve reinstituting a mask mandate in all school buildings. The district says they did it because masks work.
A lot of what we're doing right now is in limbo, but we think as far as getting at least the masking mandate updated for this year, we saw that as a priority because of the one thing that we've seen is the masks do work.
Filoni says since she spoke up at the board meeting, her mother has gotten some negative social media messages. Despite that, she knows where she stands.
This could be over where we are right now if people just kept their masks on and got their vaccinations. So it just seems like this is an ongoing problem that doesn't really need to be happening anymore.
Now, though there is skepticism out there, institutions like Yale Medicine and Johns Hopkins Medical School agree that masking is at the very least one of the best ways to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19.